Hey friends, in this video I'm going to talk about my purchase of the Ikea Skarsta desk and tell you what I like about it and then what I would have done differently if I could go back in time. This is different than the Idison desk, and I'm probably pronouncing the names of these Ikea standing desks wrong. The Idison is the standing desk that is actually electronic. It has a little button that raises us up and down. However, this review is about the one with the crank, and so I have a crank here and I'm going to show you how it works and what I like and love about this desk and what I don't like. So stay tuned. I'm in a new role where I am actually going to be working remotely from home full time. So outside of my YouTube channel, I work as a program manager, and basically I am working from home like all the time. And I needed to make sure that I set up this space in a way that was conducive from working from home, as well as making the space kind of a place where my kids can't come in and interrupt me. And so I splurged on a few things. If you guys have seen my previous videos, I splurged on the 49-inch monitor all the way to the chair that I sit in for the space. And so I didn't splurge though on this desk. This desk was $279. This is the Ikea Skarsta desk, and I'm going to tell you the two different versions that are available. So the first off is the Skarsta desk, which has the hand crank, and then the Idison desk, which is like the electronic version. So the Skarsta desk actually comes in two different sizes with two different tabletops. So the first size is the one that I have, which is the 63 by 31.5, and the other one is 47.25 by 27.5. And what I love about my size desk is it's deep, and as well as it's long. I just need a lot of space. As you guys can see, I have a lot of stuff on my desk. And I'm going to tell you guys a little secret. So if you guys are parents out there, you guys know how your kids might love to take the tape or scissors or pins off of your desk. What's really cool about the depth of this desk is that whenever I raise this up and my 8 or 9-year-old are trying to reach for my scissors, they can't reach it because it's too far back. And so that is one tip that I have for you guys. If you guys choose the deeper version, that is a benefit, which is small, but for you parents out there, you guys know what I'm talking about. So this desk is matte. It's not a glossy finish. Again, there's like a wood veneer version that you can also get as well, but this is the white tabletop and it's a matte look, so it's not like shiny or anything like that. I also do not use a protective like cover. I just don't like mouse pads. So I have my MX Master 3 mice that I use on this, and there's no problems with it kind of rolling around on the tabletop. So you guys know that I'm a crafter as well, and I use this space as crafting as well as my office. And I don't use this table for crafting, but I've already found like nicks around like the desk. It's probably because I put all of my camera equipment sometimes on here, my lenses, and so I'm not very careful with things, and maybe that's why I created dents and stuff on here. I already have little dents on here that I can't remove with like a wipe or something, and so that's just one thing to consider. If you're like very particular about having a super clean tabletop, this might not be the one for you, because I find that it gets dirty really easily. Or what you could do is buy a mat for that space that you're actually working in. So that's one tip that I would give you. The only downside about having a manual crank is you have to remember like how high you actually want it. And so I've got like this pole over here that tells me like once it hits like a certain part of my wall, I kind of know when to stop. And if you're gonna find that you're moving this desk up and down every single day, multiple times a day, it might be worthwhile to get the Idison desk, which is about $300 more. But I was willing to use the crank and then figure out a marker on the wall where I had to stop the manual crank in order for me to save $300. So just a tip, if you want more storage, you can buy an Alex drawer, and they're about $79. All right, so when you actually set up this desk, there's a crank right here, okay? And you can actually choose if you want it on the left or the right side. And I have the Ikea Alex drawer underneath on one side, and what's really cool is that like my 3-hole punch right here, as well as my stapler kind of sits on top of that Alex. You can at least have a marker on where you should stop whenever you're cranking the desk down. The tabletop is matte, and the actual like legs itself, they are metal. It's a white metal finish, and I think the other color with like the wood tabletop, veneer tabletop, is also white legs as well. and it's pretty stable. Like the legs are stable on my carpet that I have down, but like the tabletop isn't. I know for a fact that we secured the bolts in the right places and tightened them, so I know it's not a problem with the security of like the bolts. It's literally the tabletop and how this is like set up. Between the two sizes of the Skarsta desk, I'm sure the narrow version might be a little bit more stable, but this one has like a large tabletop. The larger the tabletop, the more wobbly the desk might be. I'm just making an assumption there. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys exactly how I crank the desk, and you'll see how much I have to crank it in order to move it up to my height. I'm 5'2", so I'm going to show you exactly how many times, and I'm going to not do this in slow motion so you can see how long it takes. So I'm just cranking this until it's high, and I've got this little pole on this side that tells me when to stop. So I'm just like looking over past my 49-inch monitor. Okay, so I don't think that's tall enough. Okay. Okay, so there it is. Okay, and that is the desk, and that's how long it takes. And so there is this crank here, and so all I have to do is push it in, and then there is like a clip that kind of clips it in so that it's like out of the way, okay? And like I said, like this little crank right here, you could actually position it on the other side as well. Now I've seen a lot of comments on the Skarsta about like the stability of it. I'm going to shake this desk and show you guys how wobbly it is. I mean, it's not too wobbly where it's like, oh my gosh, I think it's gonna fall, but it is wobbly. So if you're very particular about a wobbly desk because you have just a lot of different types of like equipment on your desk, this might be a consideration that you take into account. I just looked it up. The max weight on this table is 110 pounds. So if you guys have equipment or things that are going to be put on this desk that's more than 110 pounds, that is something to consider as well. So I'm going to go ahead and shake the table. You can see, like, I'm only shaking it a little bit, and everything's shaking on the table, right? Including my lens that I don't have a cap on. And so this might be concerning to you, but I'm not shaking my desk that often, so I don't think it's a problem for me. For those of you who hit the table a lot, or for those of you who are constantly putting weight and heavy equipment on your table, that is something I would heavily consider looking at a different table, because this is definitely not stable. Before I bought this desk, I had considered Jarvis, Uplift, and Autonomous for their electronic standing desk. If I had to go back in time and I had the money, I would go ahead and look at the Jarvis, Uplift, or Autonomous desks that were electronic, because I know those are definitely high quality in terms of making sure that your table is like stable, especially with all the weight that you may put on there. But the only reason why I bought this table was, number one, it was cost effective. Two, it worked for my space. The one annoying thing about this desk is there is a stopper on this manual crank. And for whatever reason, I always pull out the crank too hard when I'm trying to change the level of the desk, and it keeps coming out, and I've replaced it about 2 different times. This is a thing that goes right behind the crank, and this is supposed to stop you from pulling out the crank too far, or else you're going to end up having to kind of put it back in. This is annoying because it has a small screw that's supposed to secure it to the pole of the crank. I've got to find a better stopper for the crank, because this is super annoying, especially the multitude of times it has come out when I'm trying to change the level of the desk. This has actually become quite annoying, and I now wish that I would have saved about $300 or $400 to spend on a desk that was electronic, so that I'm not having to manually crank the desk. So I might consider actually upgrading in the future to a Jarvis, Autonomous desk, or even like an Uplift desk. But I've got to figure out a table that actually has the width and the depth of this table, because I absolutely love the size of the table. I just don't absolutely love the manual crank. I mean, it's going to do what I need it to do, so it's definitely a first world problem, but overall I like this desk. Would I ever upgrade? Maybe 5 years from now, but I really don't want to hassle with like having to rewire everything again. I have like a bunch of stuff like down here where I did a ton of cable management 2 weekends ago, and I like the way it is. So I'm going to go ahead and suffer with the hand crank and also the instability of this. I mean, the instability of this table might be concerning for a lot of you guys, so I totally get it. Would I spend another $700 to upgrade this desk to a automated desk? Probably not. I'm really happy with my desk setup, especially with the standing desk, and it's affordable. It's at $279. I mean, you can't beat that, and especially if you're just trying to, you know, be more ergonomic while you're working at home. And I honestly only spend about 2 or 3 hours in the morning standing at my desk, and after that I'm sitting in my Herman Miller chair after that. If you guys want to check out the honest review on that, go ahead and check out the description below where I do an honest review on this. But you know, it's great for 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours a day with the standing desk and having to deal with a manual crank. Like, it's totally worth it. As far as using the standing desk portion of this, I use it actually just once a day. So generally what I'll do is I'll start standing up in the morning. The other thing that I did splurge on when I got this desk is this mat. I went to Office Depot and spent, I think I honestly overpaid for it, because now I look on Amazon and there's like way better mats that are like under $30. But this is the mat that I got at Office Depot. It was $80 and I just wanted one at the time. So I decided to get a standing mat just because my feet were like just not in pain, but just really uncomfortable after like 2 hours. But after getting this mat and using it, it's been pretty comfortable. And then what I do is I just slip it between like the legs and my other Alex cabinet and just have it out of the way, or even like just slip it underneath the desk and it's fine. There are different colors that you can get with this. I really wanted like this gold pink, rose gold pink, but they didn't have it, so I ended up just getting a black mat, which is fine. But this is the black mat I ended up with. Again, I overpaid for it. You guys don't have to. I'll go ahead and link some mats that are pretty similar that have great reviews down below in the description, but don't overspend on a mat at Office Depot or Office Max. So there you have that. But don't overspend. You don't need to, okay? And overall, if I would give a review on this, a rating out of 10, I would say it's a 6.5. Only because number 1, it's cost effective, 2, it's really wobbly, and 3, I mean, the crank, I have to remember where to go crank it. I would definitely recommend it, especially the deep version if you have space, because I'm going to show you guys how many places I have stuff like stuck on this desk, and it's pretty amazing. All the things I've been able to kind of attach to this desk and have room for all the other stuff. And I just like having a lot of white space here so that I can like place things where I need to. I mean, I have my book and my iPad over here, right? Like, I've been studying for this test, okay? So there's that. I've got my iPad here. I've got my 49-inch monitor right here so you guys can see that. But my 49-inch monitor like fits on this desk and I can move it out, and it's just an awesome setup. And I would not go through the pains of trying to get a autonomous desk, Jarvis desk, or even an uplift desk here in the near future, just because I really don't want to have to set this up again because it's really annoying. I would probably change my mind if I got one for free. Do I love the crank? Not really. Will it serve its purpose? Yes. Is this thing annoying? Yes. So there you have it. That is my review. It is a suitable, inexpensive, affordable option if you want a standing desk. I hope you guys found my review helpful. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment below. I'll be sure to answer it. I'm going to continue creating videos like this, so if you guys like content like this where I share like office tips, hacks, things you can do for your remote office at home, go ahead and click on the subscribe button, click on the bell to get notifications the next time I create new videos, alright? Thanks guys, take care!